a high, deep drive into left field, and this ball is long gone. Safe, he got under the tag.
Will one hop the wall and it lands for a double.
Want to ride into deep left field, and this ball is gone. Falmouth is going to the Western Division Final.
Commodores fans, David Korzanowski, and no Danny LaRose. My partner in crime, working a part-time job, is nowhere to be seen before this doubleheader. He's tapped out, game 42 tonight, and we're doing a solo pregame show. Luckily, the Commodores are on fire. They're 13-1-1 in their last 15. A big comeback win against the Cotuit Kettleers last night, in which they trailed 2-0, 3-1, and 4-3. They ended up winning 6-4. One crucial point in the game was Matt Nelson's 2-run home run. It was his first extra base hit of the summer, and it was a big one for him to tie up the game. Katie Florio talked with the catcher from Florida State before today's doubleheader against the Kettleers. Thank you so much, Katie and Matt, as we look forward to this doubleheader against Cotuit. It doesn't mean a whole lot for the Commodores. 26-13-2. They are set as the first place team in all of the Cape League, so they don't need any wins. Cotuit, on the other hand, could still snatch the 2 seed with a pair of wins and a Wareham loss. On the mound for the Falmouth Commodores will be Justin Robleski in Game 1 from Clemson University, Chris Gonzalez from Stetson in Game 2. And again, look for some relievers as they're trying to balance these arms. They have one more game tomorrow against the Wareham Gatemen, so still 3 more games for Falmouth before the playoffs start on Friday. We'll be back with first pitch of Game 1, and Danny will hopefully be here. And we'll be back after this first pitch at 3 p.m.
The Falmouth Commodores would like to thank Franklin Sports for their sponsorship of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Franklin is yet again proud to be the official batting glove of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Throughout the summer, all 10 Cape League teams are wearing their own custom team batting gloves, courtesy of Franklin Sports. To order your favorite team's design or to create your own, visit franklinsports.com/custom. Enter code CCBL20 for 20% off your purchase. From Cape Cod to the major leagues, only the best hitters in baseball wear Franklin gloves.
Baseball Factory, a proud partner of the Cape League since 1994, holds over 1,000 events nationwide for players in both high school and middle school, including 3 training weeks here in the Cape. Baseball Factory alumni have played on every Division I college program across the nation, with thousands drafted and more than 500 who have made it to the majors. Visit baseballfactory.com to learn how you can build your way to greatness.
Hello and welcome into the Eric Palmer press box here at Arnie Allen Diamond at Gov Fuller Field. David Korzanowski joined alongside Danny LaRose. Danny, I missed you for pregame. It was weird. It was weird being alone.
David, I'm a mess right now. I'm trying to find my scorecards. This balancing a day job with games that are all over the place is really getting ridiculous. And
I
if
agree.
it rains one more time, I think I'm just going to quit.
Quit one of the jobs, meaning your part-time job. Welcome in for this doubleheader. It's our third doubleheader in 5 days. Hard to believe, but somehow the Commodores have kept their head above water. More than that, they have absolutely thrived in these last couple weeks.
Yeah, that's really, I think, been a kind of a crazy stat, is that they're keeping up this great pace. They're remaining the best team in the league while playing the most games in the least amount of time. Their pitching hasn't really faltered all too much.
Yeah.
Their hitting has remained the same. You would think that maybe they drop the last couple of games just out of fatigue, and it hasn't happened. So hopefully they can keep that carrying into the playoffs, because I know that's still a lingering suspicion that you don't want this team to lose an edge just because they're more exhausted than everybody else.
Right. One thing I do want to talk about before we look at the pitching matchup, as well as these lineups, a few guys making their debuts today.
Yep.
In the Commodores lineup, we have Max Ferguson hitting in the 8th spot. He's playing second base. And for Cotuit, Andrew Check and Matt Donlin. So this is a part in the season where these new guys come for the last week, and they kind of get some guys some rest.
And that's something I'm really intrigued by, is for both these teams entering the playoffs, you've had really solid seasons. For the Commodores, it's how do you sustain the success you have, that ridiculous pace you have been on, into the postseason, not only with the fatigue that we know, but also with new faces, because we know there's an adjustment period, especially for bats when they enter the Cape, and you're entering right when it's crunch time.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting to see if these guys can get going and help this team get prolonged success. We know every team has to go through it, some better than others.
The Commodores are 26-13-2. They still have 3 games left on the summer. 2 of them will be played today. Cotuit's season will be done after today's doubleheader. They are 19-19-4. Before we talk about the Cotuit batting order, we'll look at the man on the mound for the Commodores. It's a guy who is starting to get more comfortable in that starting spot, Justin Wroblewski from Clemson.
I've really liked him over the past couple of outings that he's had. He's got off to a really rocky start, but ever since he's become a starter, he's looked better and better. His first start against Wareham, he went 4 innings, allowed 3 runs, all of them coming in the first couple of innings, settled down after that, and then his last outing was by far his best. At Orleans, a 6-1 victory. He got the win. 5 innings of work, didn't allow a run, 5 hits, 2 walks, and 3 strikeouts. He's a guy who pitches to contact, just has to limit those hits. He's got more hits than innings pitched, but again, a lot of that coming early in the season.
6.87 ERA for the lefty, 18 1/3 innings of work, 17 Ks, and 11 walks. He'll go up against Nick Gonzalez, who starts things off for the Cotuit Kettleers. 349 batting average, takes strike 1 on the inside part of the plate. Gonzalez and DeLoach, a storyline to watch today. Both of them vying for the batting title in the Cape League. They come into this day 349 each. The 0-1 is taken low in the dirt. Calling the balls and strikes is Mark Delaney. Over at first base, Larry Rosenberg, Tim Carey down at third. Cotuit Kettleers, like a few of these teams that we've seen play in doubleheaders at the Gov, wearing their practice jerseys. Here's a slap hit into right field. Tracking is Barron Radcliffe. He's going to field it off the wall. Gonzalez is going to start this game off with a stand-up double.
Nick Gonzalez doing what he does best, and that's just get on base with hits. Make it a 7-game hitting streak after this first at-bat, and he's reached base in 16 straight. That is double number 13, and he's got a couple doubles in his last 2 games. We saw him do the same exact thing yesterday for his lone hit.
Araj Anu, another right-handed bat, comes up to the plate with a man on and nobody out. Commodores have clinched the best record in the Cape League. They still have to play 3 more games, 2 today against Cotuit and 1 against Wareham tomorrow. Line drive over towards short, snagged in the air by Kevin Kendall for the first out. He flashed back to second base, but Gonzalez is back in safely, 1 down.
And you can see the game plan for Cotuit is just like the game plan that we see a lot of teams pull against Wroblewski. He's a guy who lets up a lot of hits, so why not swing early and swing often? It worked for Gonzalez. Anu got great contact. It just happened to be right at Kendall.
Matt Mervis, who went yard in the bottom of the first inning last night, put the Kettleers up 2-0 and then came in on the mound to close out the game for the Kettleers. He swings and misses at a 79-mile-an-hour off-speed pitch for strike 1. The rest of the batting order, the cleanup man is a new face, Andrew Check. He's playing first and on deck. Mason McWhorter batting 5th, playing left. Cam Hill out in right, batting 6th. Donta Williams, who's going to be the starter in Game 2 for Cotuit, is batting 7th, playing center. Here's the 0-1, well outside. Adam Oviedo up from his usual 9-hole into the 8th spot. He's playing shortstop. And Matt Donlin from Stonehill College rounding out the order and doing the catching. One and one, 1 out, and a man on second. Wroblewski delivers, swing and a miss. Strike 2.
So it'll be really heartening to see if Robleski, after allowing a leadoff man to reach scoring position, if he can lock things down and get out of this inning. Obviously, still 2 more outs to go, but he's looking pretty good, getting 2 strikes ahead of Mervis. We saw this lineup very dangerous yesterday when they got runners on base.
1-2 the count to the left-handed bat from Duke University. ACC matchup. Here's a ground ball to the left side. Fielded at the gut by Trey Cruz. Throw on to first. Gonzalez is trying to take third, and he's under the tag. Thought they turned the double play. 5-3-5. It was a nice throw back from Moretto, but safe is the call, says Tim Carey over at third. 2 down.
Yeah, I don't know about that one. How do you get under a tag when Cruz literally applied it right to his spikes? That way, you couldn't put the tag more perfect than Trey did just then. That's exactly how you're coached to do it. Have him slide into it. The ball clearly beat him. The glove beat him. I don't know. He must have gotten around it with the foot somehow, which is a tough slide to make. But it's definitely a very close angle. So I'm not gonna say that Tim Carey at third base was wrong. He had the best angle.
Nice looping off speed. Drops in for a strike to Andrew Check. He's a big lefty, making his debut. This is at bat number 1. He goes to Walsh University. Batted a whopping .417 last year. Takes the ball low. .417 average with 72 hits, 18 doubles, 17 home runs, and 63 RBI.
Walsh a D2 school and Check playing like a D1 player against those guys.
The 1-1 moves outside. Nice sliding stop by Taylor Smith, who's doing the catching. We'll walk you through the rest of the Commodores defense. A little bit different than usual. Austin Maisel out in left, Blake Dunn in center, Baron Radcliffe back in right. Infield, Cruz at third, Kendall at short. There's a strike down the middle to make it 2-2. Max Ferguson, as we mentioned, new face, wears number 15. He's playing second base for the Commodores. He's from the University of Tennessee. Steven Moretto at first, and Taylor Smith behind the plate. Robleski from the stretch with a 2-2 count and 2 down. Falls on his landing spot and spikes a ball low. First full count we've seen. Check stands at 6'6", almost 250. Native of Ohio. Making a trip out to the Cape for the last week of the season in the playoffs. Swings and misses, strike 3. First at-bat of the summer for Andrew Check goes down, a strikeout victim. The Kettleers get no runs on 1 hit, no errors, and they leave Nick Gonzalez stranded at first. 0-0 between the Doers and the Kettleers as we head to the bottom of the first.
Cape Cod Coca-Cola thanks you for supporting the Cape Cod Baseball League. Cape Cod Coca-Cola has been proudly refreshing the community for 30-plus years, and we're honored to support the CCBL and many other wonderful organizations on the Cape.
Earn a bachelor's or master's degree, complete a certificate, or take a single course through the Division of Continuing Education and Graduate Studies at Curry College. Classes run days, evenings, and weekends in Milton and Plymouth. To learn more about programs in business, criminal justice, education, nursing, and more, visit curry.edu.
The Falmouth Commodores would like to thank Franklin Sports for their sponsorship of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Franklin is yet again proud to be the official batting glove of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Throughout the summer, all 10 Cape League teams are wearing their own custom team batting gloves, courtesy of Franklin Sports. To order your favorite team's design or to create your own, visit franklinsports.com/custom. Enter code CCBL20 for 20% off your purchase. From Cape Cod to the major leagues, only the best hitters in baseball wear Franklin gloves.
Cape Cod Healthcare is the leading provider of healthcare services for residents and visitors of Cape Cod, with 2 acute hospitals and more than 450 physicians. For more information, please visit capecodhealth.org. Cape Cod Healthcare, expert physicians, quality hospitals, superior care.
We're back here at sunny Gov Fuller Field. Bottom of the first inning, Cotuit and Falmouth playing for the second time in as many days. They'll have their third matchup coming up about an hour after the close of this game. Falmouth and Cotuit's fates nearly set for the postseason. Commodores will have home field advantage for the majority of all of the playoffs. And the Kettleers, barring 2 wins today and a Wareham loss, will be the 3 seed. Starting on the mound for the Kettleers is Kevin Connolly. Again, a more recent addition who's only pitched 1 inning all summer.
Yeah, Conley, from the University of New Mexico. So it's not one of those additions of just a local guy kind of throwing him on at the last second. But he only has one appearance. It was not a start. This is his first start and only his second time out.
Leadoff man Austin Maisel takes a big hack and comes up empty.
And his first time was against Yarmouth Dennis. It was a 9-1 loss for Cotuit on July 28th. He threw an inning, allowed no hits and an earned run. The earned run coming off of 4 walks.
Oof. That's not what you like to see.
No.
Ball 1 high and outside.
It's good news for the Doors. They love to take advantage of walks.
And that's something that Cotuit has really struggled with as a pitching staff is the walk numbers. For a team that's going to be in the playoffs, they are second in the Cape League in walks issued.
And that's never going to help. I mean, when you're shooting yourself in the foot that much,
right,
you're going to get burned more often than not.
Can't defend the walk, as they say. Foul ball off the head of the bat makes it 2-2. Maisel leading things off for the Doors. On deck, Blake Dunn, who's playing center field. Zach DeLoach is back DHing in the 3-hole. Cruz, the cleanup man, playing third. Smith in the 5 spot and catching. Foul ball back behind the screen. And then the final 4 in the order. Radcliffe, Moretto, Max Ferguson. Take a look at the 8th spot. He's playing second base. And then Kevin Kendall rounding out the order and playing short. Connolly, the righty from New Mexico, delivers on 2-2. It's taken low and inside for a full count.
Teammate of Nick Gonzalez, right? He's at New Mexico, too.
Yeah. This one roped down the right field line, and it'll get down for a base hit. One hops the wall, and it actually goes over the wall. It's a ground rule double for Austin Maisel, who matches Nick Gonzalez, who started off with a double. He's in scoring position with nobody out.
Austin Maisel continues to be great. One of those 2 remaining temporary players along with Jackson Coots who seem to trade off games played, and when either of one of them is in the lineup, they just continue to rake. That's such great depth to have for the Doors, and he continues it here. That was a 2-strike pitch that was left up in the zone and about on the inside corner to Maisel, who made no mistake, and he continues to be awesome with that batting average above 350.
Pickoff move. He won't throw over towards second base as Maisel, the leadoff man, dives back in. Blake Dunn, who's been swinging a very hot bat, is up at the plate. 238 average, 2 doubles, 2 home runs, up to 17 RBIs. Righty-righty matchup. He takes the first pitch low. Commodores dugout as chipper and loud as ever, saying good take on that dying off-speed pitch. Doors trying to keep it rolling going into the playoffs. They'll face Bourne in the first round. The 1-0 is way outside. 2 balls and no strikes.
So that's for sure. Cotuit can't drop into 4th.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep. The West is pretty much set. It would take a miracle for Cotuit to jump up to 2 ahead of Wareham. They would need both wins today against Falmouth and a Wareham loss. There's a strike on the outside part of the plate. The East, however, is a mess. Orleans jumped up to tied for first after a couple wins yesterday. Chatham's lost 5 in a row. 2-1. Grounded back over towards third base, fielding it on a couple hops as Mervis. He'll throw on to first for out number 1, but Maisel takes third. He is 90 feet away with just 1 out.
Yeah, it's a hugely productive out for Dunn. The soft contact to the left side allows Maisel to easily take third base, and with less than 2 outs, you've got a runner on third. So a sacrifice fly will get him home, pretty much as good as a bunt if you're Dunn.
Here is Zach DeLoach. He and Nick Gonzalez tied for the Cape League in average coming into this game. Both at .349 on the summer. Gonzalez started off today 1-for-1 with a stand-up double. Oviedo shaded up the middle on a slight shift from Mike Roberts' team. Pitch number 1 is high at about the letters to the left-handed DeLoach.
He's brought them so far in on the grass, too. It's only the first inning. He's already trying to nab the run at the plate. We saw this from Mike Roberts a couple times yesterday, and every single time it burned him. It never worked when he brought the infield in. And DeLoach even got an RBI out of it.
He did, right up the middle. The 1-0. Swung on, lofted foul into the trees behind the Cotuit bullpen. Doors 3-1 this season against the Kettleers. They won on July 3rd. Won on July 4th, lost on July 10th, and then won again yesterday out at Lowell Park. This game, like many this week, was a rescheduled makeup game for a rainout. This was originally scheduled to be played on July 18th. Swing and a miss, strike 2. Nice pitch at 91 miles an hour on the radar gun to Deloach.
Yeah, and he's been peppering a lot of off speed to suddenly throw in a fastball like that. Deloach is itching to see one, but the one he does finally get is up and above his letters. It's tough to lay off, and it's probably going to get you every time when it's in that location.
Okay, here would be big for Cotuit. Connolly working from the stretch with Maisel a few feet off the third base bag. He did not go around. Count 2-2.
Maisel can take as big of a lead he wants with Mervis playing so far off the bag. I would like to see him get halfway down, honestly, on a secondary.
Mervis is way over from third base, more in the traditional shortstop position. Again, infield way in on the grass, and Maisel's dancing right in the sight line of Conley. He looks home and delivers. This one into the gap in right center field. Maisel will jog home, and Deloach has an RBI single.
Just like yesterday, that's one of those 50-50 balls where part of me is saying, oh, that would have reached the outfield anyway, and the other part of me is thinking, well, it first hit the grass within 5 feet of the outfield grass, so you might think that Gonzalez could have gotten over there, made a leaping catch, and reeled it in if the infield wasn't in. So I think, again, Mike Roberts is maybe playing his hand a little too much, and it's not working out in his favor, as Zach Deloach knows exactly what to do. He doesn't have to tear the cover off the ball, just make enough contact to push it over the infielders' heads when they're in that close.
He and Gonzalez start off their first at-bat with a hit. Strike 1 comes in to the switch-hitting Trey Cruz, who's batting as a lefty in this first AB. RBI single from Deloach. He had another one yesterday when the infield was playing in on him out at Cotuit. Doors up 1-0. And he's taking second base. Throw down from Conlon. It's a good one, but Deloach is in plenty of time. No tag even applied.
And he took a really early jump. Conley had just about started moving his foot by the time that Deloach was running, didn't hesitate at all. And the way he was already facing, the angle he was at, it was kind of just pick up where you were, didn't have to turn or anything like that because nobody was holding him on to first.
0-2 to Cruz. Deloach now in scoring position after a stolen base. Spiked in the dirt. Nice stop by Donlin. 1-2. I've said it before, we'll say it again. The Commodores love to steal bases. First in the Cape League in swiped bags.
And Zach now 8 for 9.
That's number 73 on the summer for Falmouth. Average about 2 stolen bases a game. The 1-2 to Cruz, way high. Ball 2. Connolly didn't pitch too much during his freshman year at New Mexico. The 5'9" right-hander pitched only a third of an inning in 1 appearance. Gave up 1 hit and struck out 1. His brother Kyle is also on the team. As a foul ball goes back behind the screen to keep it 2-2. And his brother got similar work as well. He made 1 appearance but didn't even get an out. Struck out 1 and gave up a hit.
Sophomore year will be better.
Sophomore year will be better. I'm sure they'll get a little bit more of a workload after barely being used their freshman season. Connolly, again, a recent addition to Cotuit. Here for the last week of the season in the playoffs. Swing and a miss, strike 3. It's dropped by Donlin, who moves over and throws down to first for the second out.
So Trey Cruz over his last 2 games and now with this 1 at bat, 0 for his last 7. And that's coming off of a 5-game hitting streak. So Trey, again, getting into a little bit of a valley. We've seen him be streaky, and normally in the beginning of the season it was like, an 8-game hitting streak, multi-hit games, and then he'd go on 5 straight games where he's hitless. He's been a little bit more consistent recently, but he's just one of those little valleys right now. I'm sure he'll break out of it soon.
Taylor Smith, the catcher, spent last year at Incarnate Word, so he takes a ball high. Next season, he will be at Grayson County College. Had an outstanding freshman season, batted .322. This summer, average is down a little bit at .192, but his home run totals tied for best on the team with 5. Also 9 RBIs and a double. He's got Deloach in scoring position, who's straying way off the bag at second. Long look back from Conley, who delivers. Strike. Commodores take an early 1-0 lead here in the bottom of the first. Maisel reached on a ground rule double. Moved over to third on the ground out from Blake Dunn. Came in to score on the Zach Deloach RBI single. The 1-1. Curveball that breaks a little bit too high, 2-1.
A couple of these pitches have been up in the zone to Taylor. A guy with this much power, you want to avoid anything really around the thigh and up. He's got a lot of strikeouts on a lot of low pitches. If I were Conley, I'd be throwing everything below the knees.
The 2-1. Ground ball over towards Mervis. This is going to be a tough play. He fields it, throws across his body, but Smith can't get down the line in time. He is thrown out for out number 3. Commodores plate 1 run on 2 hits, no errors, and 1 runner left on base. They lead 1-0 as we head to the second.
Earn a bachelor's or master's degree, complete a certificate, or take a single course through the Division of Continuing Education and Graduate Studies at Curry College. Classes run days, evenings, and weekends in Milton and Plymouth. To learn more about programs in business, criminal justice, education, nursing, and more, visit curry.edu.
The Falmouth Commodores would like to thank Franklin Sports for their sponsorship of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Franklin is yet again proud to be the official batting glove of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Throughout the summer, all 10 Cape League teams are wearing their own custom team batting gloves, courtesy of Franklin Sports. To order your favorite team's design or to create your own, visit franklinsports.com/custom. Enter code CCBL20 for 20% off your purchase. From Cape Cod to the major leagues, only the best hitters in baseball wear Franklin gloves.
Red Shirt Fridays is a national program created to acknowledge, honor, and support our troops who put themselves in harm's way to defend our freedom. In support of this program, the Cape League teams will be wearing a specially designed red jersey every Friday. Support our troops and join us by wearing red each Friday.
For sales and rentals of Caterpillar machinery, generators, and marine engines, visit MiltonCat.com, your area cat dealer. Milton Cat, the Cape and Islands Caterpillar dealer, is proud to be a sponsor of today's game.
First of 2 7-inning games. An inning down here in Game 1 of the doubleheader between Cotuit and Falmouth. David Korzenowski joined alongside Danny LaRose. Happy that you're joining us on this, what day is it? Today is Wednesday?
Wednesday.
On this Wednesday. Last day of July. It's almost August.
Yep, and the last home games at Gil Fuller Field will wrap up after Game 2. Regular season.
Regular season. Doors have locked up home field advantage for the entire playoffs. They will play Game 1 against Bourne on Friday. We'll get the exact schedule as far as times and dates after the conclusion of the regular season tomorrow. But Falmouth, even with the fewest games played, has locked up the best record in the Cape. Swing and a miss, strike 1 from Mason McWhorter to start off the top of inning number 2. Robleski's 0-1. Pulls a little bit too far across his body. Misses outside to the left-handed McWhorter. And I thought last night's win was, even though it didn't mean much for the Commodores, was one of the most impressive of the year.
Yeah. Oof.
There's a strike on the outside part of the plate, tagging the corner. Doors trailed 2-0, 3-1, and 4-3. Came back and won 6-4. There's another pitch that misses just outside. It was off speed at 73 miles an hour.
I agree. It's the kind of the time of the season where they can start phoning it in, starting reserve guys, and not really play as hard. But yesterday, they just continued to do what they've always done. It seems like they haven't lost that mentality, haven't lost the edge at all. Doesn't matter if the games don't mean much. They're going to continue to play well, and it clearly showed.
2-2 the count. Robleski working from the windup, agrees on a sign with his catcher Smith, and delivers. He's missing all outside. That was the 3-2 pitch, so it's actually ball 4. First walk of the day for either side. Starts off this second inning.
Yeah, Robleski was trying to go back to the slider a ton, and he just kept yanking it. So his breaking pitch, his strikeout pitch isn't really there right now. The fastball's hitting the strike zone a lot, but the slider is not.
For the second straight inning, the Cotuit Kettleers have their leadoff man aboard. Here's Cam Hill from Kentucky. He takes a ball just outside. He's also a left-handed bat. Hill batting .216 on the summer with 2 doubles and 2 RBIs. Hill stands at 5'10", going up against a lefty in Robleski, who will check over at first. He was 1 for 1 last night, hit by 2 pitches.
Yeah, he stands so far close to the inside part of the plate.
He also stole a base and got a base knock yesterday against the Falmouth Commodores. There's ball 2, just a little bit low. Playing right field tonight for Cotuit. McWhorter stands over at first after working a walk. Here's a bunt down the third base line. Robleski's going to take it himself, plant his foot, throw onto first, and it's behind Moretto. Moving over to third base is McWhorter. He's going to round third and come in home. All the way over to third base is Hill. How about that for the first run of the day for Cotuit? It's 1-1.
And that's the one caveat that we've seen from the Commodores. Speaking of yesterday's game, we were talking about how it was a really impressive win. They buckled down, fought back at a time where they really could have phoned it in. But again, the fielding has just been abysmal these past couple of games, and I think it's got to be the fatigue, maybe the exhaustion, and kind of a little carelessness even as they look at the standings and think, oh, well, we're set to go, you know. Maybe a little tired, like I was saying, and just don't have their same mentality as the fielding continues to be bad. The throws from the infield continue to make the Doors suffer.
Ball 1 misses outside to Dante Williams. 179 hitter playing center field in game number 1 for Cotuit. He'll be starting on the mound in game 2. Over at third base is Hill after he dropped a bunt. Made it all the way to third on the E1. First error of the game for Falmouth. They had 1 error last night. Doors a whopping 13-1-1 in their last 15 games. 11 of those 13 wins coming in a row. Tied for the 6th longest winning streak in Cape League history. Here's another bunt laid down by Robleski. It's off the back of his hand. Throw over to first. Still in time for out number 1.
Looked like it was a safety squeeze put on by Cotuit, but unfortunately for Williams, it went right back to Robleski, who still managed to stay with it. And Steven Moretto is struggling at first base, and it's not his fault. It seems like every single throw over to him from infielders is going up the first base line, but in the wrong direction into the runners. I mean, if they keep throwing it there, there's going to be a chance where there's a little bit of a collision because he keeps having to step into their purview.
Yeah.
Just happened right there. He was still able to come down with it, but these throws have got to be better. Steven is not getting helped out.
Oviedo takes a first pitch strike. I'm surprised that those plays don't happen more in baseball, to be completely honest. Collisions at first base, because you see at multiple levels, there are sometimes balls that are up the line, and I feel like you'd be, on a close play, I feel like you'd see collisions more with the runner down the first base line. I know I've seen a couple out at school. The 0-1. Off speed, cracked over towards third. Nice snag by Trey Cruz, who's got Hill in a rundown. He's going to go up and slap the tag. Does Smith. He's safe.
Oh, my goodness.
Safe is the call at home plate. Smith can't believe it. Neither can Trey Cruz.
He looked out by a mile. Traded everything right, ran him back, maybe released it a little bit too late, but it looked like Smith's tag was perfect. He went right onto the shoulder. I don't even think the hand got in. It didn't. That's a brutal call. Tagged him right on the left hand. Hill reached in with his right hand, and they say he slapped the tag or slapped the base just before the tag. No, bad call.
Partner has the replay review up. You can go and watch that yourself if you want. Just hit rewind on this YouTube live stream. Jeff Trundy is out for the second night in a row out of the dugout to talk to the home plate umpire, Mark Delaney. Delaney's going to now come out to the mound and talk to Wrobleski. The umpires are going to talk this one over. Perhaps reverse the call.
They have to. I mean, by the time that Hill was even sliding, he was still a good 10 feet from the bag, and the tag was applied before he even reached his right arm out. So there's no possibility he got under this tag or beat it in any way, and I hope one of these umpires is able to make the right call. This umpiring has been tough lately, and they need something to go their way. But unsung hero on that, Trey Cruz. If that was an out, we would be singing him praises right now, and it's right after I kind of lampooned the fielding. But Trey has been just as good this entire summer, even in these last couple of games, and that should have been an out. Definitely kept the runner at first with that. It probably would have been a double.
Call stays safe. Trey Cruz ran Hill down the third base line towards home, threw into Taylor Smith, who applied the tag on the shoulder, but just a little bit late, says home plate umpire Mark Delaney. Incredulous were Cruz and Smith, as now Wrobleski fires home for a first pitch ball to Donlin. Moving over to first on that play was Adam Oviedo. Cotuit has now scored 2 runs here in the top of the second. Fly ball out of play. These runs coming in unconventional fashion for Cotuit. McWhorter reached on a walk, scored all the way from first on an E1 after the bunt from Cam Hill. Hill then was at third. He comes in to score on the Adam Oviedo fielder's choice over to third. It was a great backhanded pick over at third base. Cruz ran Hill down the line, threw into Smith, but could not get Hill in time, says this umpiring crew. Donlin catching, making his debut from Stonehill College. 234 hitter. Last season out at Stonehill, 14 RBIs, 11 runs scored. Count now 2-1. Wrobleski working from the stretch as dancing off the bag is Oviedo. Lifts his right leg and delivers. Time was called. Wrobleski didn't like how late that time was called, but it was indeed.
I don't want to harp on it too much, but I straight up cannot believe this. I paused it right on the frame where the tag was being applied, slapped the tag down when the right hand was still 2 feet from the batter's box.
Another ball. Three balls and a strike to the 9-hitter Donlin. Wrobleski's run into some trouble here in the second inning. Cotuit now has a 2-1 lead. This ball crushed into left field. Maisel is back. He makes the catch over his shoulder at the wall. But we talk about those adjustments to the wooden bats. Donlin crushes a ball on his first AB.
Yeah, looked good right there. Maybe he's cursing the wooden bats, though, because with an aluminum bat, probably would have gotten well over the fence. But his swing just looks just the same as it would anywhere else. Good on Matt Donlin.
2 down, runner on first. Commodores trail by 1 after McWhorter and Hill scored here in the second. Swing and a miss, strike 1 to Nick Gonzalez. He reached on a double in the first, made it over to third base, but was left stranded 90 feet away. Oviedo a good stride and a half away from first, but Wrobleski fires home high. 1-1. Two hits now for both of these teams. Cotuit a 1-run edge. Ground ball over towards third, fielded on a high hop by Cruz, throw across his body in time. And the inning is over. Cotuit scores 2 runs on, I believe, no hits, 1 error, and 1 runner left on base. We head to the bottom of the second inning. It's 2-1 Cotuit on the Falmouth Commodores Baseball Network.
The Falmouth Commodores would like to thank Franklin Sports for their sponsorship of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Franklin is yet again proud to be the official batting glove of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Throughout the summer, all 10 Cape League teams are wearing their own custom team batting gloves, courtesy of Franklin Sports. To order your favorite team's design or to create your own, visit franklinsports.com/custom. Enter code CCBL20 for 20% off your purchase. From Cape Cod to the major leagues, only the best hitters in baseball wear Franklin gloves.
Baseball Factory, a proud partner of the Cape League since 1994, holds over 1,000 events nationwide for players in both high school and middle school, including 3 training weeks here in the Cape. Baseball Factory alumni have played on every Division I college program across the nation, with thousands drafted and more than 500 who have made it to the majors. Visit baseballfactory.com to learn how you can build your way to greatness.
The 99 Restaurant is a proud sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Visit them in Centerville, Falmouth, Mashpee, Wareham, or Yarmouth this summer and try some local flavor from the winner of the Cape Times' Best Restaurant for Takeout. The 99, always the real deal.
We are back here in the bottom of the second inning. Doors now trail by 1 run. Kevin Conley on the mound for Cotuit, working with his first lead. Fires the first pitch low to Barron Radcliffe. Radcliffe, another unsung hero last night. He had an RBI triple to push the Falmouth lead to 2. That's where it would stay at 6-4. Second pitch, big swing and a miss. 1-1. Connolly working from the windup. He's already good to go. Got his sign from Donlin and delivers. Ball that skips at the right cleat of Barron Radcliffe, 2-1. Another pitch low. We saw Connolly miss high a lot in the first inning and now perhaps overcompensating a little bit.
It's better to miss low than high, though, especially to Radcliffe.
The 3-1. Swung on and missed. Looked like a changeup that fooled Radcliffe to make it 3-2. Payoff pitch from the righty to the lefty is outside for ball 4. Leadoff walk starts off the bottom of the second inning with Steven Moretto coming to the plate.
Now batting the first baseman from Sacramento State, number 31, Steven Moretto.
Hoping to see Steven Moretto come on a little bit more. Seemed like he really had turned a corner a couple days ago when he went 3 for 6 with 2 home runs and 4 RBIs. Since then, he's 1 for his last 10. A walk and a strikeout. So still been putting bat to ball, but hasn't gotten the same success as those 2 games.
Pickoff move over to first, not in time. We never got you that Cotuit defense. Mason McQuarters out in left, Dante Williams in center, Cam Hill in right, Matt Mervis at third, Adam Oviedo at short, Nick Gonzalez, the everyday second baseman, in his usual spot. And at first, Andrew Check. This one skied in the infield. Some sun in Nick Gonzalez's face, but he makes the catch, squatting down for out number 1.
That's part of the reason why Moretto has been not getting on base as much despite not striking out, is because he's getting under a lot of baseballs and not getting the best contact.
Max Ferguson, left-handed batter from Tennessee, wearing those cream and orange cleats, steps in for his first at-bat of the summer. Ferguson's playing second today for the Doors. First pitch he sees on the Cape League summer is high and outside. Had a pretty good freshman campaign with the Volunteers, 231 average, played in 34 games. 18 hits, a double and a triple, with 9 RBIs. With Tim Tawa's departure, Doors will be looking at him to get guys like Cantrell a little bit of rest these last couple games and perhaps even in the playoffs. The 2-0, golfed, foul.
Ferguson has now played with 2 Cruzes. Played with Antonio Cruz out in the California League. That's Trey's younger brother, an outfielder at Rice, and now he's getting to play with Trey in these final couple of games.
Much of the Cruz family in town these past few games. Here is a ball skied into shallow right field. Gonzalez is going to make the play again for out number 2. Radcliffe's back into first. And the first AB of the summer goes down a pop-out victim.
Man, this is crazy. It seems like these last 2 pop-ups, nobody knew where it was. Everyone in Cotuit just kind of like backed away and let Nick Gonzalez take it.
Right.
He's the only guy who looks comfortable with this sun. He's just by far their best player offensively and defensively.
Was named the best position player on the team last night in the final home game for the Kettleers. Sean Sullivan was named the best pitcher. He goes to Cal. Doors have seen him a couple times. 2 outs with Kevin Kendall at the plate. He takes a first pitch ball. Kendall, 12 for 65 on the summer for a 184 batting average. A double, 2 home runs, and 8 RBIs. 1-0 just below the knees, 2-0. He had a solo shot against Hyannis in game 1 of the doubleheader back on Monday out at McKeon Park. Harbor Hawks will play their last game tonight against Yarmouth Dennis. And that'll be it for them in the 2019 season. They have 8 wins and are officially out of the playoffs. Brewster also last night officially out of the playoffs after a Harwich win. 3 straight balls to Kendall with 2 down.
How about what Hyannis was able to do yesterday, though, to get their 8th win? By far the worst pitching on the Cape with an ERA just under 7, going up against the team with the best average in YD, and they won 1-0.
Ball 4. Kendall takes his base. Radcliffe moves over to second. That's 2 walks for Conley here in the second inning.
We'll see if the Doors can capitalize on these. There were no walks in the first inning. They were still able to scratch across a run. Here in the second, it's been Conley giving Falmouth some gifts. And now back to the top of the lineup, who have been pretty hot. We know Austin Maisel has been awesome, and Blake Dunn has been getting great contact. So hopefully Falmouth can squeeze something together with 2 outs against them. This is a pretty solid 2-out hitting team.
Austin Maisel doubled to right field his first time up, came around to score the only run of the afternoon for Falmouth. He's got a runner in scoring position in Radcliffe over at second base. Kevin Kendall's aboard on first. The 1-0. Low and in the dirt. Nice stop by Donlin. And I know we haven't seen much from him. He's been a pretty impressive catcher. That throw down to second base on the stolen base, I know it was late, but it was a strong throw. And he's had some good stops as well.
Made an easy steal close.
Mike Roberts, manager for Cotuit's, got a notebook in his right hand, and he jogs out to the mound to talk to Conley.
Nobody warming up in the Cotuit pen. But
That's immediately where I looked when he came out for the visit.
But we know that Conley is not going to go probably even longer than 3 innings. He'll be about 2 or 3. I think it's just the amount of balls that have been thrown recently. Now 2-0 to Maisel. He's starting to see something that's going wrong with Kevin, and just needs that one final out to get out of this inning.
And that might be the quickest mound meeting we've ever seen from Mike Roberts. He heads back to the dugout. Brett Becker got some stretches in during that meeting. Ryan Eiley, the first base coach, talking to Kevin Kendall right now. Third baseman Mervis is way off the bag, again over by short. Adam Oviedo is behind Baron Radcliffe and playing up the middle as 3 straight balls come in now to Maisel. Oviedo's at his deep spot over at second base, and Andrew Check way off the bag at first and playing deep on the right field grass. Connolly's 3-0. Strike on the outside part of the plate, 3-1.
It's been an inconsistent strike call. We've seen it a couple times called against both sides. Also seen it a couple times as a ball against both sides.
The 3-1. Inside, that's definitely ball 4, and the bases are loaded.
This is the guy you want up with the bases loaded, too.
Oh, yeah.
Put together a grand slam against Hyannis with the bases juice. That's Blake Dunn.
Almost an identical situation, too. It was in the second inning. It was after 3 walks. And he lifted one over the field fence in right field at McKeon Park. It went off the scoreboard.
And again, the wind is whipping out, just like it was at McKeon a couple days ago.
2 down with the bases loaded. Ball high and outside makes it 1-0. And you mentioned how Connolly walked in a run against YD, in danger of doing the same here. 1-0 is swung on and foul tipped. 74-mile-an-hour off speed.
He's been throwing a ton of curveballs, too. It seems like just about every batter has been started off with a curveball. It's a very slow pitch. Dunn wasn't able to sit back far enough on it. That's why he can only get that tiny smidgen of contact. Wonder if he's going to rely on that even more, because at a certain point, these guys are going to be expecting it, sit back on it, and give it a ride.
Dunn thought about it, but he holds up, and it's 2-1. That was another off-speed pitch that died on the inside part of the plate and low to the right-handed hitter, Dunn. His second home run of the summer was against Hyannis. He had his first a couple games before that against Orleans. Here's the 2-1. High and away, 3-1.
All right, red light. Let him walk you. Doesn't look like anything's coming over the plate. Hasn't even thrown a fastball yet. I don't know what his strategy is right now, but if you're Blake Dunn, you don't know what it is either, so don't go after it.
Connolly already with 50 pitches through 1 2/3 innings. Ground ball down the third base line, bounces just foul by about 6 inches. And Connolly is all of a sudden 1 strike from getting out of this huge jam.
All 5 pitches in this at-bat have all been curveballs. That last one, Dunn rolled on top of it, but it was a hanger. Came over the middle part of the plate, too. So Blake really could have done something with it, but instead Connolly gets a break.
3-2. Radcliffe on third, Kendall on second, Maisel on first. They all reached on walks. Base hit would likely score the leading run for the Doors. Connolly from the stretch delivers. Ball 4. And this game is 2-2.
And sloppy game for both sides. Cotuit, after not allowing a walk in the first inning, Connolly now allows 4 walks and walks the bases loaded off of no hits for Falmouth. On the other side of things, 1 unearned run against Justin Robleski. The other run came home on a fielder's choice on a missed call by the umpire. This has been a wacky 2 innings so far.
Zach Deloach is up with the bases juiced. He's 1 for 1. He watches a ball as well, and Connolly cannot buy a strike right now. We hit on it a little bit earlier. Cotuit struggles with the walks. Now with 4 walks today, tied for second in the Cape League in most walks allowed. Hyannis and Brewster, the 2 fifth-place teams, are at first and second, respectively. There's another ball inside, 2-0.
And none of these have been, only one has been a fastball, I think, to the last 2 batters, Deloach and Dunn.
Saw Holland last night, the starter for Cotuit. His off-speed touched, 81, 82? Or, sorry, his fastball?
Right.
So Connolly perhaps a similar story, the 2-0. High fly ball into right field. Coming in is Hill. Moving back is Gonzalez. Hill's got the sun in his eyes, but he makes the catch. The Falmouth Commodores tie the game with 1 run on no hits, no errors, and 3 runners left on base. Weird game through 2 innings. It's 2-2 between Falmouth and Cotuit. We'll be back for the third.
The 99 Restaurant is a proud sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Visit them in Centerville, Falmouth, Mashpee, Wareham, or Yarmouth this summer and try some local flavor from the winner of the Cape Times' Best Restaurant for Takeout. The 99, always the real deal.
Red Shirt Fridays is a national program created to acknowledge, honor, and support our troops who put themselves in harm's way to defend our freedom. In support of this program, the Cape League teams will be wearing a specially designed red jersey every Friday. Support our troops and join us by wearing red each Friday.
Baseball Factory, a proud partner of the Cape League since 1994, holds over 1,000 events nationwide for players in both high school and middle school, including 3 training weeks here in the Cape. Baseball Factory alumni have played on every Division I college program across the nation, with thousands drafted and more than 500 who have made it to the majors. Visit baseballfactory.com to learn how you can build your way to greatness.
For sales and rentals of Caterpillar machinery, generators, and marine engines, visit MiltonCat.com, your area cat dealer. Milton Cat,
The Cape and Islands Caterpillar dealer is proud to be a sponsor of today's game.
David Korzanowski, Danny LaRose back here at Gov Fuller Field in a 2-2 ball game. That has been weird.
Yeah, I'm not enjoying this game so much as a baseball fan, just because there's only been one run that has come home on a hit out of the 4. Been an error against the Commodores that brought home a run, and the error was so bad it went all the way up the first base line. The runner was able to score from first. There's been a bad call by the umpires. It's really just been all over the place, and especially the walks.
First pitch swinging as Araja New. He connects but fouls it away. A line-out victim his first time up, over to Kevin Kendall at short. Ball inside on a 92-mile-an-hour fastball from Robleski. Thanks for joining us on this Wednesday afternoon here on the Falmouth Commodores Baseball Network. Swing and a miss on the off-speed 1 and 2. As the Commodores will finish out their season today and tomorrow against Cotuit and Wareham, and then we'll take on the Bourne Braves in round 1. Ball 2 is low, and Braves are sneaky hot right now.
Sneaky. I mean, they have put up, 27 runs in the last 2 games, absolutely blowing out their opponents recently.
Fly ball foul into the bleachers back behind the Falmouth bullpen in right field.
Bourne gives me a little pause because in the games that Falmouth has played against the Braves, even though they've split them, the offense for Falmouth hasn't really been all that impressive. And if the Braves' offense themselves are getting really hot, that's surprising.
Swing and a miss, strike 3. It's grabbed by Taylor Smith. 1 out. That is the second strikeout for Robleski here in this game. He had a strikeout to Andrew Czech to end inning number 1. Starts off inning 3 with a strikeout to Araja New, who's now 0 for 2. Matt Mervis 0 for 1 himself, grounded out to third base in the first inning.
Yeah. Such an inconsistent call. I don't know if that outside corner is a strike or not. It seems like such a toss-up.
Ball outside. And then another ball outside makes it 2-0. Mervis, a .319 hitter this summer, 7 doubles, 2 home runs, 18 RBIs. Takes the 2-0 way upstairs. Three and 0 from Robleski to Mervis. ACC foes. Robleski for Clemson, but he's now transferring, and Mervis for Duke. Strike tags the outside black, 3-1.
Jesus. I mean, that first pitch was definitely a strike. That one, I don't think so much.
Robleski trying to claw back in this count. The 3-1. Way outside for ball 4. Mervis trots down to first base after a walk. That is the second for Robleski in this game.
Yeah, in both walks, he's been missing way outside. Pretty much every ball, it seems like he's missing outside to left-handed hitters. And what I think is going on is that I noticed it with the slider. He was hooking it a little bit too much, but it's because his body is taking him towards the third base side. Those were a couple fastballs that missed way outside, and it's because he keeps falling off towards the third base bag. Already you're putting yourself at a disadvantage that way.
Ball into right field, fielded on the run by Barron Radcliffe. Hard hit from Andrew Czech, but he goes out a flyout victim for the second out. And now McWhorter comes up with a man on first and 2 down. He walked and scored in the wacky top of the second inning. It was the first run of the day for Cotuit. Scored all the way from first on the bunt from Cam Hill. Big off speed, misses high. 1-0. Robleski announcing he's transferring to Chipola.
No.
Which one?
State College of Florida.
State College of Florida. He had some offers from a few JUCOs. announcing about a week ago that he was making that transfer official. A few Commodores will be transferring next year. Logan Hoffman from Colby College to Northwestern State. Catcher Taylor Smith from Incarnate Word to Grayson County College. Robleski from Clemson to the State College of Florida. Franco Aleman from Florida International to St. John's River State College. Any others I'm missing?
Did you get Hoffman?
Yeah. I think that's it. The four of them.
Got it covered. Brant Brown, but he's
Oh,
since
yeah.
departed the team.
Brant Brown, pitcher who was here for about a week, will be going to FGCU. As strike one comes across the middle of the plate to McWhorter. And there's ball four. Tons of walks for Commodores and Kettleers alike. Now first and second with two down.
And it's just a mechanical issue. Every single time that Robleski is missing, it's because he's missing outside to lefties, keeps falling towards the third base bag. It's a simple fix for him. Just got to keep your balance a little bit better and make sure that your arm slot doesn't follow up where your body is falling.
Two down with Cam Hill at the plate. He takes the ball inside. Connolly for the Kettleers with 4 walks. Robleski now with 3. Left-hander working from the stretch. His pitch count is up towards 50 as well. He misses again outside. 28 balls to 27 strikes. And this will bring a visit from Mike Landry, pitching coach.
And smart call with all these balls that have been thrown recently. First pitch of the at-bat looked really good. I thought it would have been called a strike. I like that he broke up the pace with a breaking ball. Had been missing with a lot of fastballs, kept it inside to Hill, just missed by a little bit. Right now he's getting squeezed a bit as Robleski, but with the bottom of the order for Cotuit, this is a bunch of guys who are batting right around 200. You don't have to be too careful.
Hill batting 216, Williams after him at 179, Oviedo in the 8-hole batting 242. Home plate umpire Mark Delaney coming out to the mound. And Landry will head back to the dugout. We saw yesterday, Danny, in innings 3 through 6. Game turned into an absolute slog. Ton of walks, ton of long counts. And it really took a while for the pace to get back going again. That's one of the reasons it lasted only 7 innings. Fly ball into center field. Blake Dunn makes the catch over his shoulder for the final out. We've seen Mike Landry whisper some magic words before, and clearly he does there. The 2-0 pitch is flied out into center and ends the top of the 3rd inning. No runs for Cotuit on no hits, no errors, 2 left on base. We'll head to the bottom of the 3rd on the Falmouth Commodores Baseball Network.
Baseball Factory, a proud partner of the Cape League since 1994, holds over 1,000 events nationwide for players in both high school and middle school, including 3 training weeks here in the Cape. Baseball Factory alumni have played on every Division I college program across the nation, with thousands drafted and more than 500 who have made it to the majors. Visit baseballfactory.com to learn how you can build your way to greatness.
The 99 Restaurant is a proud sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Visit them in Centerville, Falmouth, Mashpee, Wareham, or Yarmouth this summer and try some local flavor from the winner of the Cape Times' Best Restaurant for Takeout. The 99, always the real deal.
Earn a bachelor's or master's degree, complete a certificate, or take a single course through the Division of Continuing Education and Graduate Studies at Curry College. Classes run days, evenings, and weekends in Milton and Plymouth. To learn more about programs in business, criminal justice, education, nursing, and more, visit curry.edu.
Cape Cod Healthcare is the leading provider of healthcare services for residents and visitors of Cape Cod, with 2 acute hospitals and more than 450 physicians. For more information, please visit capecodhealth.org. Cape Cod Healthcare, expert physicians, quality hospitals, superior care.
Here in the bottom of the third, Mike Roberts dives into his bag of tricks and brings out Cody Pasek, who's listed as a catcher for his first outing on the mound this summer.
Yeah, he's literally never pitched all summer, but Mike Roberts, we saw, tore the heads off the umpires last night after the game was called in the top of the eighth. His gripe, not because they didn't complete the bottom of the eighth, but because if we had to use a pitcher, then Falmouth should have to use a pitcher. More of a fairness type thing and wanting to balance those arms. So he seems to kind of thrown in the towel in these last couple of games and just saying, I'm going to throw whoever just to get us to the playoffs.
Pasek's first pitch was a strike. Second pitch is a ball. Pasek's a cool story. He is a native of Cotuit, Massachusetts. Goes to Maine. Here's a ground ball into the 4-3 gap, and Cruz has a base hit. But Pasek made the All-Star game as a reserve. Came in with a pinch hit home run. Was 1 for 2 with a solo shot in the All-Star game.
And on the season, Pasek was currently only batting .212. Before the All-Star game, he was batting .255, so he's slumped since then. But he had no home runs and 5 RBIs on the entire summer. And then in that game, hits a home run, gets another RBI.
A lot of his family and friends have come out to all of his games. We heard them cheering when he was announced as the reliever for Cotuit here in the third. And it's easier for the family to make the trip when their son is playing in town.
Yeah, his mom is actually a board member for the Kettleers. It's a little hometown cooking.
1-1 to Taylor Smith is lifted into left, and caught on the run by Mason McCorder, 1 down.
In on the hands, like what I'm seeing from Pasek. He's just attacking the strike zone. A lot of times we see when position players come in to pitch, don't really know how to go about it, but he's saying, I'm just going to have catch with my man behind the plate and see if these guys can hit it. And so far, Cruz made solid contact, but he threw one in on the hands to Smith, and he wasn't able to do much with it. Couldn't get extended.
Baron Radcliffe is up in a full pull shift from Mike Roberts' team. Gonzalez is in his usual spot, but Oviedo's now on the right side of the diamond over from short. And Mervis, the third baseman, is over by the traditional shortstop position. Pasek will step off the mound and reset after firing a first pitch ball to Radcliffe, who walked and came around to score on the 3 subsequent walks. There's a second ball low, 2-0.
Mike Roberts, we know he's so hands-on. He has legitimately been pacing by the on-deck circle for the Kettleers every single inning they've been in the field.
Cruz makes like he's going to steal, dashes back to first on the fake back pick, and it's another ball from Pasek, 3-0. Connolly, 2 innings of work, 2 hits, 2 earned runs, 4 walks, and a strikeout before getting relieved by the traditional catcher. There's a strike on the outside black, 3-1. Pasek from the stretch. This one flown out into deep center field, and this ball is long gone. An absolute moonshot for Baron Radcliffe that got out of here in a hurry. Williams had no chance, and it's 4-2 Doors.
Welcome to pitching, Cody Pasek. You just threw one right down the middle, knee-high to Baron Radcliffe, and he unloaded. I just said it right as Radcliffe was coming up to the plate that I like the approach from Pasek, attacking the strike zone. Unfortunately for him, Baron has just so much power that even when you're throwing in the low 80s and practically lobbing the baseball, Radcliffe is able to send you for a ride. That's his 6th home run of the summer and his first coming at home.
First home run of the summer for Baron Radcliffe here at Gov Fuller Field moves him alone in the team lead in home runs. Now has 6. Steven Moretto can't hold up on the first pitch off speed that died in the dirt. It's 0-1. Setting up outside is Donlin. It's thrown outside, but for a ball. Moretto popped out to second base his first time up. Fouls one back into the screen. 1-2. Doors now with 4 runs on 4 hits, and they have a 2-run lead on Cotuit. The 1-2. Short-armed home. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Max Ferguson making his debut is on deck. He's also a pop-out victim to second. There's a pitch with a lot of movement. That moves inside to Moretto. He dodges out of the way, and it's a full count. Basics working quickly. Already delivering. Strike 3, got him looking. 2 down.
He's continuing to just kind of rear back and fire to the ball like he's having catch, like I said, and it works out for him. Throws the ball nice and inside on the hands to Steven Moretto. That's one that's too close to take, especially given how that pitch on that part of the plate has been kind of going back and forth. Might just have to swing early, try to foul it. Moretto can't do that.
First pitch strike to Max Ferguson. In his second at-bat of the summer, the defense is shifting on him.
What? Did he get stats from the California League?
Swing and a miss, strike 2.
Either that or just a presumption that a lefty's going to pull the ball, which is a risky bet.
Swung on and missed, strike 3. Pasek gets 2 Ks after giving up the long bomb to Barron Radcliffe, but the Doors add 2 runs on 2 hits, no errors, and nobody left on base. They're up by a pair as we head to the top of the 4th inning on the Falmouth Commodores Baseball Network.
Cape Cod Coca-Cola thanks you for supporting the Cape Cod Baseball League. Cape Cod Coca-Cola has been proudly refreshing the community for 30-plus years, and we're honored to support the CCBL and many other wonderful organizations on the Cape. Baseball Factory, a proud partner of the Cape League since 1994, holds over 1,000 events nationwide for players in both high school and middle school, including 3 training weeks here in the Cape. Baseball Factory alumni have played on every Division I college program across the nation, with thousands drafted and more than 500 who have made it to the majors. Visit baseballfactory.com to learn how you can build your way to greatness.
Red Shirt Fridays is a national program created to acknowledge, honor, and support our troops who put themselves in harm's way to defend our freedom. In support of this program, the Cape League teams will be wearing a specially designed red jersey every Friday. Support our troops and join us by wearing red each Friday.
For sales and rentals of Caterpillar machinery, generators, and marine engines, visit MiltonCat.com, your area cat dealer. Milton Cat, the Cape and Islands Caterpillar dealer, is proud to be a sponsor of today's game.
Taylor Smith throws down to second base. Max Ferguson catches it, flips it back to Kevin Kendall, on to Cruz, and back to Robleski, who will toe the rubber for the top of the 4th inning. Now 4-2 Falmouth. And Radcliffe unloaded on that baseball.
That's got to be one of his deepest home runs of the summer. Dead center field. Gov Fuller Field is not a small park by any stretch, especially compared to some of the other ones. We know he went opposite field 398 at Chatham, and I have to say this one probably deeper.
Starting things off is Williams, who watched that home run sail out in center field. Off the bat, I know a couple people thought it was gone. I didn't know because the angle was so low.
Yeah.
But it got out of here in a hurry. Took maybe 2.5 seconds to hit the grass behind the fence. 2 balls from Robleski. He takes a long look into the home plate on Mark Delaney, but is now down 2-0.
Well, Williams was one of those guys who knew it off the
Right,
bat.
exactly.
He pretty much turned around and didn't even move.
Yeah. Center fielder, batting 179, takes a strike on the outside part of the plate. Again, he'll be starting game 2. He's from Arizona. Speedster, who batted 267 last year with the Wildcats. 2 home runs, 35 RBIs. 2-1, check swing. It's just a little bit high, and again, Robleski's body language, he did not like that call.
That's now 3 straight curveballs on the inside half that he hasn't gotten called. I think umpire's just saying it's high because it's entering so high.
The 3-1. Taken for a ball, and Robleski can't believe it. Williams works a 5-pitch walk and is aboard with nobody out here in the 4th.
Well, that's the thing we see with these umpires is that their strike zones are pretty much about belt down to shins. when it should be needle letters, and that one was right around the belly button. It was just a couple inches above the belt, and he doesn't get it called for a strike. So I'd be frustrated too if I was Robleski. But you know what? You got to exploit it. Just throw low. Throw low to these guys and force them to swing at pitches down around their ankles, because that's going to be the strikes.
Williams with a large secondary lead, but he does not go to second. First pitch is a strike to Adam Oviedo. Oviedo was aboard in that second inning on the weird play, which scored Cam Hill from third base. He reached first on a fielder's choice. Here's a ground ball over to Kevin Kendall. On to Ferguson for one. On to Moretto for two. That'll help out the pitch count. A 6-4-3 double play.
Justin Robleski doing exactly what I was saying he should do. Just starts throwing low, and you know what? Even if you don't get even if the players do swing at them, you get ground balls out of it. And that's exactly what the doctor ordered. A tailor-made double play right at Kevin Kendall. Couldn't have been an easier play on a well-struck ball. Not too sharp, not too slow, and right at him. He didn't have to move at all.
Donlin takes a first pitch strike. Just like yesterday, neither pitcher has been able to work a 1-2-3 inning. We've seen a very slow-moving first three as another strike comes into Donlin. He was a fly-out victim in the second, but got some great contact on the ball. Maisel out in left field was able to grab it over his shoulder. Just gets the head of the bat on the baseball. It's tapped back behind the plate, keeping the count 0-2. Despite the leadoff walk, Robleski could still face the minimum here in the fourth. Working from the windup. Swing and a miss, strike three, and he does. Faces just three batters here in the top of the fourth inning. And that is the quickest half inning we've had so far today. Still 4-2 Doors as we will come up here in the booth. David Korzanowski joined alongside Danny LaRose. My scorecards are blowing everywhere. We got the fans going. It's a hot day.
It's really hot.
You doing all right? You hydrated enough?
Man, I'm just getting sick. I'm feeling a little congested.
Yeah.
I'm feeling a little hot, so the heat is not helping.
You know who the heat might not be helping as well, but I'm sure she's showing no signs of weakness. Katie Florio is live for her in-game hit. Katie.
And of course, thank you to Major League Baseball for over 50 years of support.
Taylor, turn the mic on. It wasn't on that end, was it?
This team still have playoffs. They have home field advantage for as far as they can go. Hayden said everyone wants to win so badly for Trundy, and being home for most games certainly does help. They know this field very well. They're very comfortable here, and they hope that this entire town will show up.
We love that. We love home field advantage. We love Hayden Cantrell and the Doors, and they definitely want to win for Trundy this year.
It's been a hashtag for the last, decade, I bet.
Yeah.
Hashtag win it for Trundy. And haven't heard it as much this year, but I know these guys won. It's been 21 years for Coach Trundy. He's been making the Cape League Championship game countless times. More than 5 times, I think, at this point.
0-5.
0-5 in the Cape League Championship. And, again, they've been winning the Western Division, the regular season, at a relentless pace in the past 5 years, 3 out of the last 4, and still haven't been able to do it. And I know this team is motivated to, and they've said so. These guys really want it, and that's rare to see in summer ball. I know we talk about it all the time, that it's tough to get inspired in summer ball, and these guys very much are. We saw it last year out of that squad. Yeah. Same thing happening this year, and I said it yesterday. At a certain point, you think the streak's got to end at some point. He's got to get that ring at a certain point when he's putting together great teams year after year.
Pasek fires his final warm-up pitches, and Donlin throws down to second. We're here in the bottom of the fourth inning, 4-2 Falmouth. And Kevin Kendall, Austin Maisel, and Blake Dunn will start off the fourth inning.
Shortstop from UCLA, number 7, Kevin Kendall.
Swinging a foul ball on the first pitch. 0-1. He walked in the second inning, as did 3 other Falmouth Commodores, Austin Maisel, Blake Dunn, and Barron Radcliffe. Second pitch is a ball from Pasek, again making his first appearance on the mound this summer. 1-1, swung on and missed. Strike 2. Pasic's working quickly, waiting for Kendall to get set in the box. Taps the bat off his front cleat and is ready. The 1-2. Spiked in the dirt. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Pasic's working so quickly, he's kind of balking right now. I know there's nobody on base, so it doesn't really matter, but he's not coming to a full set. You got to give a little bit of a pause. He keeps moving.
2-2 is high and away. Full count. Pasic over 25 pitches now. Gave up 2 earned runs in his first inning on the summer. There's ball 4. Just outside, and a first walk for Pasic.
So in what might be Kevin Kendall's final game of the summer, he hasn't registered an at-bat yet, but 2 walks will get the job done. He's seeing the ball really well. Now it's back to the top of the order. Trio of guys who have been awesome and have reached base.
Maisel lays down a bunt, but it's fouled back into the screen. He's reached base twice with a double and a walk. Scored in the first, was left stranded on the second in the second. The 0-1. High and outside, and again, the infield is shifted on him. Infielders have been all over the place, especially Adam Oviedo at short. He's played just about everywhere in the infield. Here's a hard hit drive out into right field. Long run for Hill, and this ball is gone. Austin Maisel goes yard. It's another 2-run blast, and the Doors are up by 4.
Yeah, shift isn't going to help you there. Austin Maisel absolutely cranks one. I knew that one was out off the bat. It was just a matter of time for the wind to keep it going. That's only his first home run of the summer. Usually we see line drives from Maisel, but he's definitely got that power. We've seen a lot of hard hits from him. A lot of his extra base hits have been scorchers. They found gaps. Finally, he just gets underneath one just enough that it sends it over the fence.
And this is a sliced hit into right field. The shift was going the other way. Gonzalez was playing up the middle at second base, and Dunn has a stand-up double.
Was the center fielder Williams also shaded all the way in left center?
No idea.
I looked down to write in, a single on my scorecard. All of a sudden, Dunn was easily into second. I think he probably was shifted a little bit because that was a hard hit ball. Should have gotten to it quickly, playing a little deep as well, and Dunn we know has speed. But Mike Roberts has been shifting a ton in these past 2 games that the Kettleers and Doors have played, and I don't remember even one instance of it working out for him.
Doors are cooking here in the 4th. They're up 6-2 after a walk, an Austin Maisel home run, and a Blake Dunn double. Cody Pasic's first outing on the mound is not going as planned. Here's a fly ball down the right field line. Long way for Gonzalez. He makes the catch. Tagging up all the way from second into third safely is Blake Dunn. So a productive first out as 90 feet away from run number 7 is Blake Dunn.
And the Commodores against Pasic are just swinging at everything because everything's pretty much down the middle. This is a guy who has never pitched in his collegiate career. Mike Roberts is kind of setting him out there, and he's got the bullpen working now, but for the first couple of frames, it was pretty much just eat up some innings for us. Don't really know what's going to happen and just need you in the long haul. It's going to pay off.
Trey Cruz takes a first pitch ball. Warming up is another catcher, Colton Kessler from Kentucky. Another foul ball, and he has not pitched this summer yet either.
Do they just have no pitchers left, or does Mike Roberts think, I don't care if I get the 2 or the 3 seed?
I bet you it's the latter.
Yeah.
I bet you it's the latter. 1-1 check swing.
Oh.
He went around. Infield is playing in on the grass. It's 1-2.
Because home field doesn't really mean all that much when it's a 3-game series. So I guess that's what Roberts is going for.
Cruz taps both sides of the plate. Switch hitter batting as a lefty because Pasic is a right-handed arm. The 2-2. Lifted into deep left field. Back is McHorder. He makes the catch, and Blake Dunn will tag up. No chance for a play at the plate, and it's 7-2 Falmouth.
Man, this team is just something else. Even when they looked a little bit sloppy in the first couple of frames, even against a Cotuit team that's got a great offense, and I know that they're throwing whatever arms they can get out there, but this Doors offense doesn't let up in the slightest. They just continue to pour it on, and no matter who they're facing, doesn't seem like it faces them at all.
Swing and a miss from Taylor Smith, strike one. Here's a high fly ball into center. This ball is fielded by Dante Williams. The Doors score 3 more runs on 2 more hits, no errors, and nobody left on base. We'll bring it back in the broadcast booth. The fans are still going. We're still staying hydrated. Katie Florio is still sidelined. We had some technical difficulties for the first hit, so we're going to toss it back to her as we now bring in Katie Florio, the 3rd member of our broadcast team. Katie, what do you got for us?
Thanks, guys. And there are still games left to be played, but today is the final home day of the regular season. I talked to Hayden Cantrell before the game, and he said it's getting more and more real that the end is near. But let's not talk about that yet, because this team still has playoffs yet. And not only do they have playoffs, they have home field advantage for as far as they can go. Hayden said that everyone wants to win so badly, especially for Trunday, and being at home certainly does help. They know this field, they're very comfortable here, and they hope that the crowd will show up as well.
Awesome, thank you, Katie. Yeah, it's one of those weird moments where the end of the season's coming, but like no one wants to talk about it. It's like the word that can't be said. You know what I mean? Because I feel like last season we kind of had that experience when we lost to Wareham, when the Commodores lost to Wareham.
Yeah, I guess so. And for Cantrell, it stings a little bit more because this is his 2nd year on the Cape. He told me right around opening day that he doesn't really think of the Commodores as, a 2nd team to him. He puts them with just as much importance and says that name with just as much, importance as Louisiana Lafayette. So for Hayden especially in particular, he really cares about this team, and I doubt he wants to go anytime soon because he loves it here in Falmouth.
Doors love it here in Falmouth, and they're up 7-2 at home. They have an outstanding home record, perhaps something we haven't harped on enough this season. 12-6-2 when playing at Gov Fuller Field. They are 14-7 away, so pretty outstanding both at home and on the road. One of the best teams, the best team, and the best record in the Cape League.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to be one of the best teams, you can't complain that, since our road it's our road record, we don't play well on the road. And the Doors definitely don't do a lot of complaining and don't do a lot of losing either. They've been great anywhere they've been.
Robleski's out for inning number 5. Big swing from Nick Gonzalez down the 3rd base line and foul. 0-1 the count to the leadoff man, who is 1 for 2 today. Stand-up double and a ground out. Kettleers trail by 5 to Falmouth. The 0-1. Curveball way outside. A ball and a strike. Oh, so Gonzalez and Conley are not teammates because he goes to New Mexico State.
Oh, okay.
High fly ball down the left field line. Long run for Maisel, who loses the hat but makes the catch. Perched 2 feet inside of the left field line, 2 down, or 1 down.
So Nick Gonzalez is an Aggie, and Conley is a Lobo.
Lobo, yeah.
I don't know what either. Well, Aggie just means like agricultural person, right?
Yeah, that sounds right.
And Lobo is
a Lobo. I mean, I know what their mascot
it's a wolf, right?
Looks like. Yeah, it's like a wolf.
It's a chupacabra.
It kind of looks like a honey badger.
Yeah,
it's got the face of a honey badger. Swing and a miss on the off speed. Araja News down 0-1. Random stat I'm going to throw out. Not even stat, random thing I'm going to throw out because I don't know much about either school. Mm-hmm. But one of my favorite March Madness upsets was the 14-3 upset when Harvard, the 14 seed, upset the 3 seed New Mexico.
New Mexico was a 3 seed?
Yeah, and Steve Alford was the coach the year or maybe 2 years before he signed his deal with UCLA.
Interesting.
There's a second ball low to Araj Anu.
If you were to ask me to name all 50 states, I think New Mexico would be the last one I would name.
2-1, swung on and missed. Big swing from Anu, who is 0 for 2 today. He's got some power. He unloaded for his 6th home run of the summer last night against Falmouth. 21 RBIs. He's designated hitting today. 2-2, swung on and missed again. Dropped by Smith, who can't find the ball, but finally does and throws down to Moretto for the second out.
We've seen this now a couple of times from Robleski, and what really comes to mind is his first start against Wareham, where in the first 2 innings he allowed 3 runs on several hits. In this ball game, the runs he's allowed really not his fault. One unearned, the other one coming on a fielder's choice on a poor call from the umpire, but he's only allowed 1 hit since the, second inning.
Yeah, only 2 hits for Cotuit in this game. Ball way high to Matt Mervis, who is 0 for 1 with a walk. That's the one category where Robleski struggled, and he might argue that he's been squeezed a little bit by the strike zone. 4 walks and 4 strikeouts for the left-hander. That's a beautiful off-speed pitch, looping in for a strike, 1-1.
But again, you would assume that as this lineup sees him more, then they'd be able to tag him more,
Right.
and that has never been the case. I don't know what it is, but Justin now against 3 separate teams gets better as the game goes on.
1-1, just gets a piece, does Mervis. 1-2. Austin Langworthy warming up in the pen. They want him to go 6 and 7.
He's pitched a lot recently.
He has indeed. Helping save some of the other arms and getting the Commodores a couple saves this summer.
Yeah.
The 1-2 from Robleski. Foul tipped again.
I just thought of this comparison. Austin Langworthy is the Bartolo Colon of the Falmouth Commodores.
Wow.
He's the old vet. He's a jokester. He's very lax, very, very lax, and he's got a practically rubber arm. Bartolo Colon was like pitching in his 45th year, 200 innings without even breaking a sweat.
Strike 3, got him looking. Matt Mervis goes down a strikeout victim, and Robleski faces the minimum for the 2nd straight inning. It's still 7-2 Falmouth as we head to the bottom of the 5th on the Falmouth Commodores.
The Falmouth Commodores would like to thank Franklin Sports for their sponsorship of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Franklin is yet again proud to be the official batting glove of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Throughout the summer, all 10 Cape League teams are wearing their own custom team batting gloves, courtesy of Franklin Sports. To order your favorite team's design or to create your own, visit franklinsports.com/custom. Enter code CCBL20 for 20% off your purchase. From Cape Cod to the major leagues, only the best hitters in baseball wear Franklin gloves.
Baseball Factory, a proud partner of the Cape League since 1994, holds over 1,000 events nationwide for players in both high school and middle school, including 3 training weeks here in the Cape. Baseball Factory alumni have played on every Division I college program across the nation, with thousands drafted and more than 500 who have made it to the majors. Visit baseballfactory.com to learn how you can build your way to greatness. Cape Cod Healthcare is the leading provider of healthcare services for residents and visitors of Cape Cod, with 2 acute hospitals and more than 450 physicians. For more information, please visit capecodhealth.org. Cape Cod Healthcare, expert physicians, quality hospitals, superior care.
Radcliffe's last at-bat was a 2-run bomb off of Cody Pasek. He'll lead off the bottom of the 5th inning. Radcliffe, Moretto, and Ferguson due up here in the bottom of the 5th. And another position player pitching in Colton Kessler.
Colton Kessler on the summer has a 141 average, a double, a triple, 5 RBIs, a home run, and 8 walks. That's all the important stat line because he's never pitched. So I'm just reading what I got, David. He's another guy just like Pasek, who's listed as a catcher, is going to go out there to pitch for the first time this summer. Mike Roberts seemingly has thrown in the towel and just says, get me to Friday.
Oh, my goodness.
I'm 62.
Colton Kessler lofts a ball over the plate, or I should say off the plate, for a ball that came in at 62 miles an hour. This one is at 69, and this is This is laughable. I mean,
This is silly.
our producer, Max Trink, is cracking up next to us, and rightfully so.
And Mike Roberts has the audacity to shift his infielders while throwing this guy.
This ball is destroyed down the right field line and just foul. Oh, my gosh.
That one nearly went into the locker room.
Dude, Robleski is about 20 feet away from the locker room door. He flashed his hand fair. And that's one of the longest home runs we've seen in Falmouth in years. Check swing, foul down the third base line.
Listen, I know that we said that the Commodores have very little incentive for this game because they've locked up everything they can achieve. They have home field through the championship series if they get that far. But that was 51. But Mike Roberts and the Cotuit Kettleers, they can still get second place. They can still, with a Wareham loss and a couple wins, they can still manage to get home field, and yet they care less than the Doors do right now.
Swing and a miss, strike three. Radcliffe is still laughing as he comes back to the dugout. So is Steven Moretto as he steps in.
I know these games have to get played, but this is it's just silly.
Ay, ay, ay. Moretto a backwards K in the third, a pop out in the second. He clocks one to deep center. Back at the wall is Williams. He makes the catch about 2 feet in front of the wall, 2 down.
Yeah, I think Falmouth is just going to have batting practice right now. They're going to swing at the first pitch they see. Pretty much all of them are going to be down the middle and coming at an arc angle of 360 degrees. Just see if they can shoot one as far as they possibly can. It's home run derby time.
Kessler, the right-hander, delivers to his SEC opponent in Max Ferguson. Takes the ball low. This is genuinely as fast as you see in about a Babe Ruth league.
Is a Babe Ruth league like Little League?
Babe Ruth is about high school baseball.
Oh, high school.
Yeah.
They never called it Babe Ruth league where I'm from.
Oh, it might be a Northeast thing. The 2-0 is high. 3 balls and no strikes. But you see guys hitting 70 there, right? Probably more.
Yeah, I mean, I played travel ball against kids who weren't playing college baseball, and they hit 80.
I believe that. Ball 4 as Ferguson trots down to first base.
And it's Kessler. It's not like Kessler when he pops behind home plate and throws down to second that he's throwing 62 miles an hour. He genuinely can throw hard, but it's kind of just a wash game. It's very evident that the Kettleers don't really care about the outcome of these 2 games, and Kessler's just going to kind of lob some pitches.
He'll check on Ferguson, who's aboard for the first time this summer. After, I was going to say working a 4-pitch walk, he didn't really work much. Just 4 balls from Kessler. There's a strike to Kendall, 0-1.
75, look at that.
Wow.
Blazing speed.
I saw Holland's fastball touch 81 last night. That was about it. Ferguson will walk back to first.
Ferguson could walk to second if he tried to steal the base and probably get there in time.
The 0-1. Swung on down the right field line, foul, and surprise, surprise, the Commodores are ahead of Kessler right now.
Yeah, it's going to take them maybe an inning like it did against Holland yesterday. He looked fantastic in the first inning, a guy who could only touch about 81 with his fastball, and then by the second or third inning, the Doors were just piling it on because he learned to sit back on it a little bit further.
Doors have scored in every single inning so far today. A run in the first and second, 2 runs in the third, 3 runs in the fourth. The 1-2 to Kendall. This one clubbed into center field. Williams is back again, and he makes the catch at the wall. Kessler's first inning of work on the summer. He gets away unscathed. Strikeout to Baron Radcliffe and long flyouts to Moretto and Kendall. In between them, a 4-pitch walk to Max Ferguson. Still 2 innings left to play with a 5-run lead for the Doors.
Baseball Factory, a proud partner of the Cape League since 1994, holds over 1,000 events nationwide for players in both high school and middle school, including 3 training weeks here in the Cape. Baseball Factory alumni have played on every Division I college program across the nation, with thousands drafted and more than 500 who have made it to the majors. Visit baseballfactory.com to learn how you can build your way to greatness.
The Falmouth Commodores would like to thank Franklin Sports for their sponsorship of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Franklin is yet again proud to be the official batting glove of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Throughout the summer, all 10 Cape League teams are wearing their own custom team batting gloves, courtesy of Franklin Sports. To order your favorite team's design or to create your own, visit franklinsports.com/custom. Enter code CCBL20 for 20% off your purchase. From Cape Cod to the major leagues, only the best hitters in baseball wear Franklin gloves.
For sales and rentals of Caterpillar machinery, generators, and marine engines, visit MiltonCat.com, your area cat dealer. Milton Cat, the Cape and Islands Caterpillar dealer, is proud to be a sponsor of today's game.
Welcome into the broadcast booth. David Korzanowski joined alongside Daniel LaRose as always. And a new pitcher that we haven't had in the booth before. Welcome, Logan Hoffman.
Thank you.
How we doing?
Good, how are you?
Doing well. How was 50-50?
Pretty slow today. Not a big crowd for the first game of the doubleheader.
That's kind of what happens.
A Wednesday at 3 p.m. Color me shocked.
Yeah.
Austin Langworthy's on the bump for the Commodores. We've seen him a few times this summer.
So
go ahead.
The reason we haven't been able to bring you into the booth was because you're a reliever, and typically it's always starting pitchers who get to do 50-50. How'd you feel in your first start, and do you think you're going to get any more?
I mean, felt good, obviously. It's a little different, but, I mean, I started at school this year. Just a little bit of adjustment after relieving all summer, and they just needed somebody to go a couple innings for the doubleheader that day. So, I mean, I think I'll be moved back to the bullpen, which – I mean, I'm fine with it. So
yeah, you're comfortable in both areas.
Yeah, I feel good either way.
And you were selling 50-50 against Franco. I know it was kind of a, the crowd's a little bit sparse here, but is he everything he's cracked up to be as far as 50-50
Oh yeah,
sales?
he goes pretty hard on that. He was pre-wrapping tickets before already, so
We've heard he does that.
Yeah.
The 2-2 from Langworthy. Strike 3, got check looking, 1 down.
He lets you hear about it, too.
Oh, I'm sure he talks a lot of smack, yeah?
Oh, yeah.
Who were you selling with?
Dylan.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who was he selling with?
Spencer, I think.
Okay, gotcha. So no Emily?
No.
Okay, because we know Emily and Franco is the power duo.
Are you going to be selling in game 2?
No, I think Justin's got it. I'm going to retire from that.
Head back to the bullpen?
Because I think Franco's selling in game 2.
Oh, yeah, Franco, he's excited for it. He gets to do both games today.
Strike 1 on the inside part of the plate. And you're a guy who's gotten a lot of work this summer. How would you sum up your season so far?
I came here, so just throw, a couple innings out of the bullpen. I think I'm at 16 or 17 right now, so it's still been a pretty light summer, but I've been feeling good. Pitched against really good competition, too, so it's been a great summer.
Well, you had, as the strikeout against McWhorter makes it 2 up, 2 down, you had a heavy workload at school. You were at like 90-plus innings.
Yeah, I threw.
Coming to the Cape, were you intimidated a little bit, hoping that your arm would stay with you? Did you have an innings limit?
So, I took a little bit of a break after a season. I threw, 89 and a bit, but I knew it was going to be light this summer, so I kind of took a little bit of time off. That refreshed me a bit, but I've still been feeling really good. My arm's been good. My body's been feeling awesome, so it's been good.
2 strikes now after another strikeout to Mason McWhorter. Austin Langworthy, who's got a 6.75 ERA and is now making his 7th appearance, comes out. There is a knuckleball that hits him on the back of the neck. Trotting down to first will be Cam Hill. He was hit by 2 pitches yesterday, hit by 1 here today. What's the Cape been like?
Definitely different for me.
How so?
I think I know.
The way the way everything is around here, it's so compact. And
okay.
There's a lot of traffic.
Yep. I was going to say people, just the sheer amount of people.
Yeah, it's really busy, but I like it. So.
Because you come from you say that your hometown, Munster, Saskatchewan, shout out the Great White North, has 400 people, and then you went and played JUCO at Colby College in Kansas, which is hours away from Wichita.
Yeah, it's it's also in the middle of nowhere. I'm pretty sure it actually, for its size, is like top 3 most remote places in the U.S.
Wow.
So there's not a lot to do there other than work out and play baseball, but it was the best 2 years of my life. So.
Ground ball up the middle past Ferguson. Into second is Hill. Williams is aboard with a single. So do you like that kind of lifestyle better, or do you kind of like the chaos, if you will, here on the Cape?
Honestly, it just depends how I'm feeling.
Okay,
but for the most part, I'd say I like the more laid back,
Gotcha.
not as much traffic, people, that kind of thing.
Can't wait for him to get drafted by the Yankees. Have to deal with the New York media and the New York everything.
Yeah, I went to New York when I was like 12 years old, and that was a complete shock for me walking around there.
Holding up is Oviedo. He takes a first pitch strike. Langworthy now pitching from the stretch. What have you been doing in your free time? I know we've had a lot of doubleheaders and a ton of games, but have you gotten to escape a little bit at all?
Yeah, I mean, a little bit. We've me and my roommate, we drove around a little bit, checked things out. But
who are you rooming with?
Troy Clonch.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's been good though. I've got to see some things. I mean,
have you gone to the beach much?
Couple times.
Have you ever been to the beach much in your life?
Not a lot. No. I mean, I've been to Florida twice, so I went there. But other than that, no beaches really in Saskatchewan that you.
And you're not a big beach guy?
No, not a big beach guy. I don't like.
Why is that?
I just don't like carrying the sand all over.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's kind of annoying, but.
2-1 the count to Oviedo. Swung on and missed. Strike 2 is actually a foul ball.
So you said that those 2 years at Colby College were best 2 years of your life. How about this summer on the Cape?
Yeah, it's been the best summer of my life. So, yeah.
They tell you to say that?
No, I mean, it's been a good past couple of years, and thankful that I got the opportunity. So
that's what we've seen. Everybody is loving it this summer from your team.
This ball into right field. Moving in is Radcliffe. As stopping at third base is Hill on a nice throw from Radcliffe to the plate. Bases are now juiced. So you're hypothetically in this situation, bases loaded, 2 outs. What's your mentality, and what are you throwing first pitch?
Depends if it's a lefty or righty. If it's this guy's a righty, I'd probably go slider first pitch because he's gonna be hunting something, drive a couple of runs in. So probably try and get ahead with an off-speed pitch.
We see you use your curveball a lot.
Yeah.
Is that one of your favorite pitches?
Yeah. I mean, when it's working, it's one of my favorite ones. When it's not, it makes me pretty mad. But I mean, I'm trying to develop a better changeup. I feel like it's pretty good right now, but I want to be able to throw it kind of whenever I want for a strike, or if I want to locate it away more. So.
Well, we definitely noticed it in your last outing. You threw it first pitch a ton.
Yeah, I threw a lot of changeups my last outing. It was feeling good that day. I got a couple swings and misses on it.
And it's really slow. It looks like it could be a curveball because you take so much off of it.
Yeah, it's about 8 slower than my fastball. 8 miles an hour.
It's a good weapon.
The 0-2 to Donlin. Cracked back towards Langworthy, who will field it on a high hop, and underhand to Stephen Moretto. So the bases are loaded for the Kettleers, but they're all left stranded. Langworthy escapes unscathed in the top of the 6th. We'll keep Logan Hoffman on here for the bottom of the 6th inning, but right now we will step aside for a quick break on the Falmouth Commodores Baseball Network. Still 7-2 Falmouth.
Earn a bachelor's or master's degree, complete a certificate, or take a single course through the Division of Continuing Education and Graduate Studies at Curry College. Classes run days, evenings, and weekends in Milton and Plymouth. To learn more about programs in business, criminal justice, education, nursing, and more, visit curry.edu.
Baseball Factory, a proud partner of the Cape League since 1994, holds over 1,000 events nationwide for players in both high school and middle school, including 3 training weeks here in the Cape. Baseball Factory alumni have played on every Division I college program across the nation, with thousands drafted and more than 500 who have made it to the majors. Visit baseballfactory.com to learn how you can build your way to greatness.
Quick break, and we are back in the press box. David Korzenowski, Daniel LaRose, and the third member of our broadcast team. You've usurped Katie Florio for these past few innings.
All right, perfect.
I want to talk a little bit more about your transfer. So you're at Colby for the first couple years, moving to Northwestern State next year. What was that process like, and how excited are you for next season?
Yeah, so in the fall there's a big JUCO showcase for my conference, and I pitched there and had a couple schools talk to me. But I went on a visit. To 3 schools. I went to University of Kansas. I went to Northwestern State and Southeastern Louisiana, and obviously picked Northwestern State. Just felt like a bigger version of my JUCO, so that's why I liked it. And I'm really excited to get down there. I mean, here for I don't know. Depends how we do. Hopefully till the 10th.
Yeah.
So, but and then I'll be heading there right after that. So I'm very excited and can't wait to get down there.
Are you going straight to school from here?
No, I'll be flying
time
home,
home.
and then I'm driving to Louisiana
Oh,
from
wow.
Canada.
So Northwestern State's in Louisiana.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Northwestern Louisiana.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
That would make sense. What's your relationship like with the coach there, and have you gotten to know any of your future teammates?
So actually, the head coach there was
Maisel tees off on the first pitch. It's in deep right field, back at the wall, and making the catch is Hill.
What?
Robbing Austin Maisel of another home run for the first out of the bottom of the 6th.
That was a nice catch.
Dude. That's our first robbed home run.
In 2 seasons.
In 2 seasons, and it's coming in this situation. This
Wow.
is crazy.
Nice catch by Hill. Have you ever gotten bailed out like that?
He doesn't let up that far.
Not that I can remember.
Here's Blake Dunn. He watches a first pitch strike. What were you saying about your coach, though?
Yeah, so my head coach in Louisiana is he was a pitching coach at the time when my pitching coach at junior college went to school at Northwestern State.
Okay.
So that's kind of how things happen. So I mean, I'm really excited to get down there. I've talked to a couple. I mean, I met some of the guys on my visit, but
Yeah.
I've been texting my future roommate, I guess, a little bit. So
Nervous at all?
I mean, it's a long ways from home, but I'm not very nervous.
Okay.
I don't get nervous about a lot of things.
Gotcha.
Are you motivated to win with your boys? I don't know too much about Northwestern State and how the roster is looking, but you know that with those minor conferences, it's pretty much you got to win your conference, and then you can make a regional, and then you can make a push.
Yeah.
So that can be you're already at a disadvantage pretty much if you want to make a push into the postseason in D1. So are you guys motivated? Do you think you can put something together this year?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, not this year, but last year they made a regionals. They won the conference tournament. I don't remember exactly what place they finished that year, but yeah, I mean it's anyone's game really when it gets to the conference tournament. Whoever's hot at the time. I mean, if you've been the best team all year, obviously you're gonna have a better bracket to get there. But I think for sure, the way things are looking, we can definitely make a push and win the conference tournament. And that's the ultimate goal, and to go on from there.
I want to talk a little bit more about this summer. You said hopefully we're playing till the 10th. This team has been awesome to cover. I'm sure it's been awesome to play for. 11-game winning streak, 13-1-1 in your last 15. What's the potential for this team?
I mean, I think we can go all the way. It's
Yeah.
just we got all the parts. Pitching and defense wins championships. That's what everybody says.
Right.
And our hitting is there obviously too. So if we have all things clicking at the same time, I think we can go a long ways.
One thing that always, because I agree, I think this team is by far the best team on the Cape, and the stats show it, especially the win-loss record. But the fatigue, are you worried about that? Are you worried about exhaustion? Having to be the only 2 teams playing on August 1st, playing 5 games pretty much in the final 3 days of the summer before heading into the playoffs. Are you worried that might slow you guys down, or is it just pretty much a routine?
Yeah, I mean it's tough, but once you get used to it, it just kind of happens. So you get there, you show up, do your thing. You've been doing it for the past, including the college season, 5 months. So
right.
I mean, I think everybody's feeling good for the most part, but I'm very excited and see what happens.
Because this team, I mean, it's obvious, talking to the guys and being around the team. There are other teams around the Cape League that want to go home. That's not this team, is it?
No, not at all. Yeah, there's other teams that I'm sure they'd like to go home for a bit, but
Right.
I think we've got a good group of guys that want to be here and want to get a ring too. So
Right. And we've heard the common answer to a lot of the questions we ask is, oh, we're having fun, we're having a great time. As Trey Cruz fouls one back and out of play. What would you attribute the team chemistry to? Because we know the guys are close, but why are they close? If that makes any sense.
Just the type of guys we have. It's guys who want to be here and want to learn from each other. It's not guys who do their own thing all the time. And you can ask anybody in the pitching staff. We always talk about what type of pitches, how we pitch guys, that kind of thing. So that's awesome too. I mean, obviously I haven't played at the NCAA Division I level yet, so I'm always talking to the guys and asking what they do, how they go about things. So that's why I think we've had success this summer as well.
Bases now juiced for Taylor Smith after a single from Zach DeLoach and then a bloop single from Trey Cruz.
That single for Trey Cruz, that pitch came at 50 miles an hour.
Good.
5-0.
Strike one at the knees to Smith, who is 0 for 3 with a ground out and 2 flyouts.
So you were an all-star. You pitched a great inning. Did you watch our Instagram story at all during the all-star game?
Yes, I did. I did see that.
How was my Canadian accent?
It was there. That's for sure. It was.
That was the most hesitant compliment I've ever heard.
That was the Canadian way of saying it was bad.
Yeah, I got a couple of my buddies that follow it, and they sent it to me, and they're like, "What is this?"
Oh, I'm pretty torn up about it.
Swing and a miss, strike 3.
I watch enough hockey to get by with a Canadian accent, but.
So how much did they make fun of us is what we're asking.
Honestly, they didn't. They just sent it to me, and they're like, "What is going on?"
Baron Radcliffe's up at the plate. He struck out to start off Colton Kessler's outing. But before he did, he teed off on a ball that went probably 400 feet down the right field line, but foul. He'll take a first pitch strike from Kessler. And we've been trying to pin down what the mentality of the team is these past few games because they're weird, right? Everything's locked up. We know the Commodores are first place in the West. And these games don't mean a whole lot as this is a fly ball into right. But what would you say it's been like these past couple games?
Just go out there and play. Have fun. Compete. It's tough. We've played a lot, but go out there with the mentality that you want to do everything to the best of your ability, and good things should happen.
Good things are happening right now. We thank you so much for joining us these past inning as the Doors are up by 5 runs. Best of luck the rest of the season and in the postseason.
I appreciate it.
Logan, thanks.
We'll be back for the 7th after this.
Baseball Factory, a proud partner of the Cape League since 1994, holds over 1,000 events nationwide for players in both high school and middle school, including 3 training weeks here in the Cape. Baseball Factory alumni have played on every Division I college program across the nation, with thousands drafted and more than 500 who have made it to the majors. Visit baseballfactory.com to learn how you can build your way to greatness. Cape Cod Coca-Cola thanks you for supporting the Cape Cod Baseball League. Cape Cod Coca-Cola has been proudly refreshing the community for 30-plus years, and we're honored to support the CCBL and many other wonderful organizations on the Cape.
Red Shirt Fridays is a national program created to acknowledge, honor, and support our troops who put themselves in harm's way to defend our freedom. In support of this program, the Cape League teams will be wearing a specially designed red jersey every Friday. Support our troops and join us by wearing red each Friday.
For sales and rentals of Caterpillar machinery, generators, and marine engines, visit MiltonCat.com, your area cat dealer. Milton Cat, the Cape and Islands Caterpillar dealer, is proud to be a sponsor of today's game.
Danny LaRose back at Gov Fuller Field, 7-2 the score in favor of Falmouth, looking to make it 27-13-2. And the Kettleers would fall to below 500.
They don't seem to show any inkling of, upset, I guess is the word for it. They seem to, they're kind of throwing in the towel and just ready, like I've said a couple times, ready to go and get ready for Friday.
Gonzalez, ground ball back to Langworthy, spins around, throws on to first. Nice strike over to Moretto for the first out. And DeLoach will win the battle of the the 2 men who were tied for first in the Cape League in batting average. DeLoach 2 for 3 with a sac fly, a fly out, and 2 singles. And Gonzalez 1 for 4 with a double.
Yeah. How about Doer's pitching? Nick Gonzalez has a hit in each of these last 2 games, but only 1 hit. And he's a guy who came into yesterday with 14 multiple hit games, and so far Falmouth has limited him to only a double in each one. Didn't score any runs either, so I'm impressed.
Swing and a miss from Iraj Anu on a 76-mile-an-hour off-speed pitch that died low. Thank Logan Hoffman for joining us for the 6th inning. First pitcher to be on for 2 half innings. There's a ground ball up the middle, skips off the mound and into center field for a base knock. Just the 3rd hit of the afternoon for Cotuit.
Now batting, the 3rd baseman from Duke University, number 47, Matthew Mervis.
Iraj Anu moves to 1 for 4 with a single, 2 strikeouts, and a lineout. Matt Mervis is hitless today, 0 for 2 with a walk. Langworthy worked into a jam in the top of the 6th. He had the bases loaded with 2 down, but he escaped unscathed. Swing and a miss, strike 1. Strike 2, excuse me.
He's got a rubber arm, and he's gotten so much better his last couple of outings. That first outing, I was thinking, oh boy, he's never going to pitch again. He's looking so sharp. And he's now up to, what, 5 or 6 appearances?
Yeah, I believe this is appearance number 6. As the Falmouth Commodores are trying to preserve some of their arms as well heading into the postseason. Langworthy listed as an outfielder, but he has gotten some appearances on the mound. This is appearance number 7. 2/3 of an inning against Brewster, an inning against Chatham, Wareham, Bourne, and Bourne again. And then 2 innings of work in a 5-5 tie against Hyannis.
So many of his outings have been in the last couple of days. He's pitched 4 times in the last 5 days.
Ball low and in, 2-2. He's picked up 2 saves this summer, once against Wareham, once against Bourne. This is not a save situation, but he gets a strikeout. 2nd out of the top of the 7th, and the Kettleers are down to their final out.
Yeah, Langworthy's pretty much just attacking the strike zone like we saw from the position players Cotuit throughout, Pasek and Kessler. He's doing a better job of it, hitting his corners a little bit more and with a much better movement.
Check in his debut, 0 for 3 with 2 Ks. Trying to keep Cotuit alive here in game 1. 1-0 is a strike on the outside black, 1-1. Langworthy working quickly. This ball destroyed into deep right field. Down the line is Radcliffe leaping. Did he make the catch?
He's not showing the ball.
Yes, he did.
All right.
And that's the game. How about that? Fair ball that was right down the right field line, but he makes a leaping catch to end the game. And the Falmouth Commodores are 14-1-1 in their last 16. Danny, I know that this game didn't mean a whole lot to the Kettleers or the Commodores, but they get a win 7-2.
And that's the thing that is also very impressive is that even when, things are just kind of lackadaisical for Falmouth, they still continue to pile it on against teams. And that just shows how the talent is all there for the Doors. They by far have the most well-rounded roster who continue to pitch very well, field very well, hit very well. Just everything is going good for the Commodores, even when neither team really is showing too much intensity. They just continue to still play great baseball.
Let's talk about the pitching. Austin Langworthy comes in for 2 innings of relief. Again, scoreless baseball, gives up 3 hits but no earned runs. And Robleski, the starter, putting up another quality start.
Yeah, Cotuit almost lackadaisical at the plate against Justin Robleski. Had a double in the first inning, had a bunt single in the second inning, and then he didn't allow a hit after that. The only base runners who got on were on a couple of walks, errors, fielder's choices, stuff like that. So Justin Robleski continues to get better as games go on, and the Kettleers, the more they saw him, the worse they got even. I mean, he started racking up even more strikeouts. I think Robleski's going to be a really valuable asset entering the postseason. After a really tough start to the season, it looks like he's turned it on, and the Doors are going to rely on him more and more.
How about the bats? Home run from Austin Maisel, his first of the summer. Home run from Barron Radcliffe. They teed off on a couple position players who were pitching for Cotuit.
Right. Again, Falmouth, very low-stress game and low-stress at-bats. These guys are still trying to put together good stat lines, though. They know that these games are still being paid attention to by major league clubs, by scouts as well, and that really helps out. And they weren't fooled at all by some of these guys who were lobbing some eephus pitches over the plate. They're still sitting back on the pitches. They're still showing great vision and still putting good wood on baseballs. Again, this team just so talented that it seems like they can't let up even if they wanted to.
Getting the win for the Falmouth Commodores is Justin Wrobleski. It's his second of the summer. Cody Pasek, in his first outing on the mound, gets the loss. He is 0-1. No save for Langworthy because it was a 5-run win for the Commodores. 7 runs on 8 hits, 1 error for Falmouth. 2 runs on 5 hits, no errors for Cotuit. For Katie Florio, Max Trink, Danny LaRose, I'm David Korzanowski saying so long from Game 1 of this doubleheader. Stay tuned to our social media at Fal Commodores on Twitter and Instagram to get the official start time for Game 2. Should be around 5:45 or 6 o'clock, and we'll see you then for the second matchup of the day against Cotuit.